the treasurer. Session objectives are basically the same: to explain the role, to identify your role within the club, to know about the resources, and to know how to fulfill the responsibilities. And I can say that treasurer is the role which is not always performed by a certain person. Sometimes it can be one person who is performing two different officers' positions, like I was vice president membership and treasurer. But and you can think that there is not a lot of things to do, and you can imagine the treasurer, something like this, a person who just collects money and who doesn't do anything. And as I said, there are not so many things to do, but the importance of the role and the prestige of the role is that it is a person who is responsible for money, and that is why this is very important role in the club. So first of all, you should trust this person, and I can say that sometimes these operations which you have could be difficult, and it could be a disaster if you don't note all the transactions just on the spot. So you should be aware of it. By the way, do we have separate treasurers or any treasurers here, like Mikhail? Pavel, you're just the treasurer.
And
I was.
camera guy.
And camera guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so also two things to do. So I think it will be helpful for you. Treasurer role. Once again, a lot of words and a lot of things in the manual. So please read it afterwards. And there are a lot of tips. There are also a lot of interesting information because, for example, treasurer should be aware of government tax regulations, and for example, in the States, the Toastmaster clubs sometimes are organized as non-profit organizations, so they also should submit some tax forms to the IRS committee or others tax services. But it's not for us, but you should also consider it that maybe someday people create this non-profit organization in Russia or in Moscow, and actually there was such idea some time ago, but it wasn't very successful. Also, there is a thing called audit committee in the club, which we don't have, but it could be helpful if there are a lot of transactions and you need to just to check everything and to understand that everything is in order. Also, some clubs have their own bank accounts and a lot of other things which are not which can be replied to our personal stories in our clubs, but which could be helpful for your just general education and knowledge about Toastmasters. Responsibilities, as it was before, during club meetings, outside club meetings, and during your fulfilling your duties at executive committee. So, during club meetings, collect membership dues, collect meeting fees, announce payment dates. Basically that's it, and as it was said before, like collect membership dues, VPM can do it, so everything is customizing, and you should just figure out what responsibilities a treasurer has. So, next thing is outside the club meeting. It is preparing a budget. We also don't usually have like budget for a year, but it's a very good thing to do, especially nowadays when we are going to become an era and when the more and more transactions are coming. Also, provide bank with a bank signatory card. It's probably not also a very important thing. Collect and pay dues. Issue checks for club expenses. Keep financial records. Present financial reports. So I think everything more or less clear. Then, outside the club meetings, more things. Submit club accounts for audit. As I said, it's not maybe applied to us, but you should think about it. Attend executive committee meetings, as probably any other officer. Reconcile deposit, expenditures, and cash on hand. And receive financial correspondence. Basically that's it. Everything is understandable, everything is clear, but I would like to share some tips how to perform a better treasurer from my own experience. And yeah, some more responsibilities, prepare a budget, present financial reports, work with the executive committee on the club's plan. So everything is quite clear. But before it, I would like to say that there are certain sources of income, it's meeting fees and event fees. Probably we don't have more. As it mentioned in the manual, there could be some other things like fundraising events, or we can bring sponsors. We also don't do it now, but you can consider it, and treasurers can consider it as an option. Next thing, once again, club expenses. They're quite clear, as I said before, websites, supplies, postage, meeting spaces, or like payments for venue, events.
Tea break.
Tea breaks, yeah, usually, definitely. Don't forget about tea break. Okay, so now some tips, like treasurer keeps money, gives money, and he should keep track of transactions which he or she makes. So when you make a transaction, just don't forget to put a date, to note payer, to put sum definitely, and put purpose which this money is for. Then, about taking transaction notes. For example, there are a lot of money in your use, but not a lot of money sometimes. And you have, for example, your own personal money, you have your sometimes job money, sometimes, and we're talking about Toastmaster experience, you have Toastmasters money. And for me, it's better to divide them in different packs. And for example, you can simply have kind of envelopes for certain purposes. And for example, even if it's about Toastmaster money, you have one envelope for like today's meeting fees, one envelope for New Year party, and so on, and have the list of the transaction in it, and to put all the transaction and not to have the mess of the money, and afterwards trying to get the debits and credit transactions and to see what is the actual leftover. So, apart from this written transaction, you can digitalize them, and of course we do it. And we have different understandable tools like Microsoft Excel or Google Docs, and Google Docs is very helpful because you can log in online and you can see online what's happening, and this is very helpful for the treasurer and for the president. Next thing is different mobile apps which are nowadays everywhere and in your phone. You can easily download an app which is suitable for you. This app could help you to know the transactions, and for example, there are simple apps where you can have different budgets. For example, your own personal budget, your job budget if you have some things to do with the cash, and also Toastmaster budget. You can categorize different types of payments, income, expenses, and you can just in a second send it to your email and have the report online. So this is very helpful, and you can also consider it. Next thing, about budgeting. As I said, we don't actually create budgets nowadays, but if we're talking about budgeting, it's quite simple and easy to understand what to do. So first of all, you need to analyze and plan your income, the amounts of money which you will get, and the periods of money, and the periodicity of it. Then the same you need to do with the expenses, and then you should just create your whole budget and understand do you have the deficit or the profit, and then try to cover it, or just try to find other expenses to have as sources. And control its implementation, because there's always plan and there's always reality, and it's better to control what's happening, not to be in the situation when you are in the red and you don't have any money. And next thing is that when you're a treasurer, as any other member, you can always ask for help. And you can delegate some of your responsibilities, because, for example, you are not in town for now and you need to get some payments, so you can ask a certain member, not member, but officer of your team to do these responsibilities for you. But when you do it, you need to explain what he or she should do, like note the person, the sum, the purpose, Because sometimes when we were collecting money, some people were gathering money and didn't know who actually paid them. Then it was a difficult process to remember who was this girl with like blonde hair, and a lot of things which could be eliminated just by simply noting all the transaction and proper note of all these transactions. Then, like as I said, explaining the details and control the fulfillment when you get the report from a person whom you delegated these duties. You should just control if everything is done right. Revision. It's another thing which is not always done in the club, because there is a person, treasurer, who is responsible for money, but there is, for example, the president who is responsible for everything. And I think it is good and it would be better that the president from time to time overview what's happening with the budget, what's happening with the expenditures or the income, and just to check all the transactions, and some maybe accounting mistakes can pop up. And at the end, I would like to say that, as it was said in the beginning, you just need to understand your role, how important it is, and how responsible you should be when you're performing it. Then don't forget about the resources which you have, which could help you to understand what your role is. Create your own responsibilities for your own club, for your own treasurer role. Use different tools, as I said, different digital devices like enveloping or what is more suitable for you. But the reason is just to be accurate in accounting and not to lose any transactions. Then don't forget that you're working in a team, and then there are people who are ready to help you, and probably that's it. And yeah, as it was said, ask for revision just to check everything. Questions?
I have two quick questions.
Yep.
First, we collect meeting and membership fees in rubles, but pay to the headquarters in dollars. So we run a currency risk. So how do we mitigate this risk?
Actually, when I was a treasurer, the currency was more or less stable, so I didn't have this problem. I think that you need to cope with the problem as it is. For example, if you stated the certain sum of money, you should gather this sum of money for this particular payment period, because it would be, I think, not very just to ask people who pay later to give more money because of the current rate of the change of it. And I think that unfortunately it lays on the club's budget, this difference. So basically that's it.
And second question, we have a number of people who keep coming to our meetings, but they don't pay the meeting fees.
Okay,
How do you make them pay?
actually there was a case, in Toast case, when I just became the secretary, there was a girl treasurer called Ina Fikman, as far as I remember, and she was very passionate about her role. She was every time on time before the meeting starts, like half an hour on time. So when you come to the audience, she's there. She's sitting at the first desk, and she's checking anyone who comes in, his name, the sum of money, and that's it. So actually, it was very difficult not to pay money, and she has the whole list. She can count people who paid, and afterwards come to people who didn't pay. But it is difficult because you need a very passionate treasurer and very responsible one. Other questions?
Yes,
Yep.
I have also two questions. The first one is, as far as I know, our Elite Club in St. Petersburg has a sponsor. So maybe, maybe Larissa can help. What does the sponsorship cover? Is it extra money, or it covers everything? I mean, members do not pay anything.
Actually, I'm not really familiar with the topic, but I can say, okay, I can say that I think this money can go on any purpose you want. It's just like the donation, it's just the sponsorship. And probably if there is a sponsor, you just need to announce him. Or,
You mean this, somebody would like to be sponsoring this club?
No. I don't have anybody, unfortunately, but I would like to know, does the member pay the dues every meeting and the
If there
membership?
is a sponsor.
Yeah, if they
Ah,
have.
okay, I can say only on the example of the club in St. Petersburg.
Yes.
So basically, the company pays for them, but they have the amount of money reduced. So the members pay 300 rubles per 6 months, the membership fees. So thus they want them to motivate to come, because when they bring their own money, they will be more committed. So the company they're able to cover all the expenses, but they decided
It's like a
to have-
corporate club. or
it's a
is it-
corporate club,
Ah,
but the
yes.
members pay this 300, and this 300 goes for the, for presents, for supplies, tea, no, not they have it in the company, but anyway, in some external events, something like this. So, but they want people to be committed. So, but they basically can pay for the hosting. Yeah. But we were thinking about applying for the sponsorship program, German-Russian house, but I don't know how it will look like. So because if they, for instance, if they host us, if they sponsor and host us, so they can't allow people to pay money in this house. So that's why it's better to apply for the sponsorship. So it depends, but I think the St. Petersburg will do that.
there is quite a lot of those. Any other questions? No. So that's it.